we are going to bring on our special guest today from the Franklin County Health Department. It is Solvej Guthrie.
There she
I hope
is.
I did your name okay.
Yes, that's correct.
All right. You are the population health strategist at the Franklin County Health Department. How you doing?
Very thankful to be here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, thanks for
How
coming.
long have you been in this position?
Since May. So
Okay,
I'm
so
the
you're new.
newest.
I thought.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
We do a lot with the health department.
I know.
And I haven't seen your face.
Yeah, I'm new.
Okay. Well, welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I'm sure we'll hear from you more.
Yeah.
So we want to talk about World Diabetes Day, which
Correct.
is November 14th, right?
Yes, World Diabetes Day is celebrated on November 14th. Yes.
Okay. And so we're just raising awareness of...
Raising awareness about diabetes, I just briefly wanted to talk and highlight diabetes distress, which is a struggle that a lot of people living with diabetes have to deal with, and it can be confused with depression. However, it's specific to people living with diabetes and the struggle of having to self-manage a chronic disease. So if you see, you can see on your screens diabetes distress. These statistics show people that are dealing with severe diabetes distress, which we have a tool that I'll share later. So in terms of diabetes type 2, we have 1 out of 5 people living with diabetes type 2, which is one of the most common ones that we have here in our state, deal with diabetes distress. And now, what is diabetes distress? It's just the psychological and emotional burden that you have to go through for having to deal with managing.
Right.
And just, it's not only thinking about how much insulin you have to put or think, it's just how you have to think about how you're feeling after a food, choosing foods, and imagine having to live with that thinking constantly of what should I be eating? Why am I feeling so tired? Was my dose correct? So all of that can lead to diabetes distress.
Yeah.
And I also briefly wanted to share some statistics of where we are as a state with diabetes distress, with diabetes overall. So if you can put the next slide.
So before we do that, just on the diabetes distress, how do we manage that? How do we treat that? Is that just awareness for the folks that are dealing with it? Are there tools that they can have that help them
manage
handle
that.
Yeah.
Well, there are tools, and the nice thing about the diabetes I guess the silver lining about diabetes distress is that we have a tool, which is a scale that any patient who has diabetes can just go online, and if you have that QR code that you can see now on the screen, if you were to take a picture of that's going to lead you to the scale, and it's just 17 questions, and that will categorize, are you having issues with you feel lonely in the treatment, you have issues with your providers, maybe you don't trust your provider. So it points out to what the specific problem can be, and so then how we can address that. Sometimes it's just saying maybe you need more support and more education, and here are the tools that for example the Franklin County Health Department can provide, which is we have diabetes self-management classes, we have the diabetes prevention program, and we also are able to go through this and say, okay, maybe if you're not feeling comfortable with your provider, that can be the issue. So you can address that with your provider. It's important to also not only address the pathology as just a disease, but also, the whole thing would be also addressing the emotional burden that diabetes is causing.
What about parents of children with diabetes? Can they be, could
overwhelmed?
Right.
Yes.
I mean, similar types of things. Constantly thinking and managing and monitoring and.
Of course, that's also one that can be pointed out after taking the scale. Is maybe you feel lack of support of your closest environment, and then that can help address. Maybe you need to involve your family into understanding. This is why I feel. All the time frustrated, or in the mornings or after meals.
Agitated.
So yes. So all of that. And we're still with diabetes as a state, 14%, almost 13% of our population has diabetes type 2 in Kentucky. So that's still a remarkable number. And in terms of pre-diabetes, it's close to 34%. I think it's on the next one because that has the obesity, that was this year.
Okay.
So obesity is closely related to diabetes.
Factor,
it's a risk factor, and it also aggravates diabetes. So that's why it's there. But in terms of
So what are the risk factors for diabetes?
well, there is a genetic component. There is also the diet, lifestyle.
Right.
Like you've heard this again and again, and we have to continue just saying like lifestyle is like how much you move, what you eat.
Yeah. So if you're eating Thanksgiving meals all the time,
that would be a
Not
disaster. Yeah, that would be a disaster.
Right.
But like Thanksgiving, it's a holiday. You're able to just be free. I would say, because for the most part, what we want with people with diabetes is that they are able to eat whatever they want, but they just have to be able to choose wisely.
feel like they're living a normal life.
Exactly, because
And do things in moderation.
in moderation, that's the word. Yeah,
Yeah.
and being able to say like, oh yeah, I can have a piece of cake, I can have my, I can have gravy, I can have like all of those amazing things you can have. Just like be moderate and
A little less, and then
Yes.
go for a walk.
exactly, and then just choose wisely.
Yeah, there you go.
So you talked about being sort of aware of the diabetes distress, and so then is it important for people to be able to, I mean, like depression and any sort of mental illness, talk about it publicly, or not publicly, but with your close circle and your healthcare provider is super important, right? So I'm assuming that you would recommend people, if they're feeling that they should talk about it.
Yes, in fact, all health providers, whether that's your MD, where you're being followed up by a nurse, whoever it is, they know about this scale. So you can even just print it out or share the results with them, and they should be able to point you out to, okay, maybe it hasn't been addressed properly here, all of the doubts that you have, or maybe we can bring on like the family. You can even say like, can I have my family here so that you talk to them and explain how my medication and how my disease is, because there are all of these doubts around it that are creating this distress. That, like we said, the problem about diabetes distress is that long term, even if you have all the willingness to take care of yourself, then long term you can have the outcomes that you were expecting. You know how we follow, like people with diabetes, you have to follow them every 3 months, you have to take their A1Cs, all of this, and that's without counting that they have to be pricking or checking on their glucose
and that's
numbers.
stressful, as it is.
That's the daily stress.
Right.
And then you have like every 3 months a test.
Right.
Yeah. So
Right.
Without even counting those, I mean, all of this is, so stressful for them. So
Absolutely, yeah.
being aware of that.
Yep.
So we talked about the resources on the QR code to the health department website. What are maybe some other resources for folks here locally or nationally, or that they can?
Sure. Yeah, you can always. First and foremost would be like being practicing self-compassion. I know that we talk about it, but it's always like, they say you have to treat yourself as you would treat your best friend. So I think that's important for everyone.
Self-care. Yep.
Yeah, self-care. I mean, we are in the month of Thanksgiving, so being grateful, having that practicing gratitude.
Or worry about the things that led you to that point, right? Like we talked about at the beginning. It's like you can't change the past. It's just like
exactly, and you can only control so much. So we should all just be able to focus on what we can control and not the things that we cannot control. So that would be...
That's step one.
That's step one.
Okay.
Yeah, that is step one.
Okay.
Yeah, and then step 2 is other resources. Please reach out to us. Like the Franklin County Health Department has lifestyle coaches, and even if you're not interested in joining one of these programs that are like the lifestyle changing programs, you can also just have a consultation with us, and then we can, like I said, just guide you. Say like, okay, yeah, this is actually a real issue, and you can address you can address it with your healthcare provider. You can address it by calling us. You know, so. Those are and then online you will find a lot of resources where CDC has, the American Diabetes Association has like simple things that you can do. A lot of them do start with self-compassion, self-care, gratitude, and then addressing the issue with your health provider.
So the services that are available there at the health department, do they cost anything?
No. We provide all of those are for free.
Okay.
Yes.
It's so nice that we loved having you guys around when COVID was happening, and it was you're such a great leader in the community. But now it's like nice to be able to not have get back to what you were kind of always doing, right? Which is helping with the community health
and highlighting, again, what our health department does here for our community. So we appreciate that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we're always trying to just trying to improve overall health of people in Franklin County. So that's our goal.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for coming down on a Wednesday morning. Do you have a Thanksgiving side that you want to, that's like your must-have?
Well, like Kathy, I really love the broccoli casserole.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
But I also, and I don't know if this is a staple for just Thanksgiving, I love sauteed green beans with like butter sauteed green beans with a squeeze of lemon and garlic.
Wow. Yeah. She's fancy.
And it's a little healthier.
It's a little healthier. Yeah, it's a little healthier.
Awesome. Well, Solvej, thanks so much for coming out and spending Wednesday morning with us. And you're welcome to come back anytime to talk about anything else.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Harvey.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.